Hi everyone! Today I'm going to make Carnivore Hippies delicious meatloaf. Welcome to my channel. My name is Anita and this is where I show you how I lost 145 pounds following a meat-based ketogenic diet, which I just call carnivore. Let's talk about meatloaf for a moment. I've never been a huge fan of meatloaf. Especially since going keto or carnivore, it seems you either have to put a bunch of sugar-free ketchup in it or add a whole bunch of other ingredients. I really have trouble making meatloaf, moist and delicious. And then I met Chef Patty at the retreat in Tennessee, and she was making meatloaf. I happened to be in the kitchen helping, being one of her helpers that day. And I was really excited to see what she would do to the meatloaf to, make me like it. And I loved it. And I ate leftovers the next day. I ate cold leftovers the next day even. I didn't need to have it warmed up or anything. It was so good, so moist. There are a few, what I think are the key ingredients or key reasons why it was so moist, and so I'm going to go over those, and then we're going to go to the stove and make the gastrique. New word I learned, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. So first of all, what all is in this meatloaf? 2 pounds of ground meat. Now you could do 2 pounds of ground beef like I have here, 1 pound each of pork or beef, whatever you like, whatever you have. 4 ounces of liver. Now it's supposed to be beef liver. I was absolutely 100% positive I had beef liver in there, and I discovered it was chicken liver. I'm gonna go with it because I think it'll be fine. 2 eggs, some pork rinds. I think it's about a half a cup. I'm not sure. I'm gonna measure it and we'll find out. Some Worcestershire sauce, and make sure you get the all natural. I've been using the other kind. I didn't even know this existed until I went to the retreat, and that's what Chef Patty was using. This one has way less ingredients. There's no soy, it's gluten-free, it's anchovy-based. Yes, there is some sugar in it, and you will end up eating about 1 carb. So the amount that's going into this meatloaf, say for 8 servings, I'm thinking this will make 8 servings, you're gonna end up with a carb. If you're not okay with that, or you're not okay with the little bit of sugar that's in it, don't use it. Use something else. I'm sure that you can find something else to add that flavor that you want. Maybe some red boat sauce, although that's more of an Asian thing. It's also anchovy based. Some Bragg's all-purpose seasonings, but again, that's got the soy in it. You got to pick your thing and what you're willing to live with, and the ingredients on this bottle, for me, I am willing to live with it. So just letting you know. Redmonds salt, and some dried onions that have been moistened. Now, I have an issue with onions. It is one of those vegetables that I have a lot of difficulty tolerating. So I was a little concerned. But it appears that my issue is mostly raw onions. I don't think I would be able to chop raw onions and put it in here. Chef Patty, in order to save time, she was making 30 pounds of this meatloaf. Don't forget, I'm only making 2. So she said she normally would have put in chopped real actual onions, but that would be something I cannot do. But it turns out that her method of using dehydrated onions and then reconstituting with a little bit of water sits pretty well with my system. And so I was quite happy to learn that. So what this is 2 tablespoons of dehydrated onions, and I added 2 tablespoons warm water. And so now it's very moist. It's going to add a little more moisture to this meatloaf as well. So the liver, I'm going to be chopping it up very fine in my little mini food processor. And then I will add these other ingredients and, you know, mix it all in. I think it's best mixed in by hand, but you do you. The other key ingredient to this meatloaf is what I was calling a glaze or a sauce. I kept referring to it as the glaze when I was in the kitchen, and she kept saying, no, it's Gastrique. And I had never heard that word before, but you know, she's trained, and so she knows these words. When I looked it up, I found out it's actually kind of a sweet and sour sauce. So I'm going to tell you what's in it. Red wine vinegar. So just find a clean one. You know, it's this one is, there's only one ingredient, which is wine vinegar in the one that I have here. So that's the sour part of this gastrique. And the sweet part is either honey. You could use honey. I'm using allulose. I didn't have any honey in my cupboard, but I do have some allulose. So 2 tablespoons honey or allulose. Half a teaspoon of ground cloves, and that might be changed after we taste it. And the 1 cup of red wine vinegar. We're going to reduce it down by about 1/3. So I actually want to start on the sauce first. I called it sauce. I'm sorry, Chef Patty. Gastrique. We're going to start on the gastrique on the stove, reduce it down, and then while it's simmering, I'll put everything else together, and then you're going to see later on this delicious meatloaf. Before we assemble the meatloaf, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Element. Element is a super tasty electrolyte drink that comes in several different flavors, including the raw unflavored for those of you who are very strict but need your electrolytes. It contains a science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Whether you're traveling, new to keto or carnivore, or you have been doing it for a long time, we all need to maintain our hydration levels and our balance, and I find for me that Element is a good solution for that. It's the one I've been using for a couple of years. Right now, Element is offering to my viewers this 8 flavor sample pack. You can get this sample pack free with any drink mix purchase on their website. That link will be on the screen or listed below. It will be added to your cart automatically. You can share those sample sticks with a friend, or just try them all out so that you can figure out your favorite flavor of Element. So thank you, Element, for sponsoring today's video. I'm going to measure out my 1 cup of red wine vinegar.
That could take a while. Probably should have taken the little cap off. Let's see, I could be there all day. Oh, never mind. It's not coming off. It's too tight.
So I'm going to start that on a simmer here. I have a half a teaspoon of ground cloves. I've already got it in here with my 2 tablespoons of allulose. If you can't do the allulose or the honey, I don't know about the other sweeteners, what this would be like, but you know, you can certainly try that. You can leave this out altogether, but I feel like it really added that extra kick to this whole thing, and so I don't know if I would want to leave it out. I'm super sensitive to so many things, and I had 0 issues with this recipe, and I ate a lot of the meatloaf, so it's not like I just took a little bite or anything. So you know what you're sensitive to, so it's up to you to tweak this so that it matches, your own personal tastes and abilities to tolerate. Okay, I'm just going to let that go. Would imagine to reduce this down by about 1/3. It's going to take 10 minutes or so of simmering. And this gives us the opportunity to go back there and get the whole meatloaf ready before we add this part. Okay. Okay, so our gastrique is bubbling away behind me there. It smells amazing. I have this liver. I need to chop it very finely, so I'm going to do that in my little mini chopper here. You could chop it with a knife if you want. Okay, I'd say I chopped it pretty fine. The liver definitely gives it a body and it deepens the flavor. If you really can't do liver, at the retreat, Chef Patty made 3 different versions, and she left one batch without the liver for those people who can't do liver, and it was fine. It was great. It's a pretty forgiving recipe, and she also did one without the onions too, for people who absolutely can't tolerate the onions. I'm glad I tried the onion one. So my favorite was the one with the onions and the liver, and it was really good. I'm going to put in the onions. 2 tablespoons of this Worcestershire sauce, or your other sauce of choice. This is half a tablespoon, so I'm putting in 4 of these. Okay, I've turned off the stove because the gastrique has reduced. I don't think it needs to reduce much more. I'm going to put in my 2 eggs before I forget and they drop on the floor. I have the oven set to 350. I'm not sure if that's the right temperature. I forgot to ask her that. But I always figure when all else fails, use 350 and keep an eye on it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Here's the part where I wasn't 100% sure. She either said 1 ounce or 1 cup. So I'm going to measure out a bowl and see how much 1 cup weighs and go from there. You can make your own pork panko. I have a video where I show a couple of different ways to grind up your own. You know, you can smash them, blend them, whiz them, or you can buy them like this and it's already done for you. Let's see, this is 1/3 of a cup. Well, that's already 1.4 ounces. I'm gonna go with 2/3 of a cup. This may not be exact, but it feels right to me. So that's 3 ounces. I might even add a little more. So I'm just gonna moosh up those eggs a bit, mix this in just a little bit. I'm gonna see how it all feels once I get my hands in there. Then I'll know if I need to add more. That's the nice thing about something like meatloaf. It can be very forgiving and you can go by feel, and it's really hard to screw it up. I'm gonna take my ring off while I put in the love. So here we go. I'm feeling like it's going to need just a little more. I'm gonna put in one more 1/3 of a cup. That's gonna make a full cup. Oh, and there's the stove that's ready. So just gonna rinse my hands, check on the sauce, the gastrique, and then we'll finish putting it together. I'm not going to use all the sauce. I just remembered now, Chef Patty saying to me she was going to just give me the basic recipe and that it would probably be more than what I needed for this. So I'm just going to, you know, just put in a little bit, put in about 1/3, and then I'll save the sauce for another day, another recipe, because this looks nice and moist the way it is. I think it's going to be great. Getting my hands in there one more time before it goes into the pan. Our oven is ready. Make sure everything is mixed well. All right, it's ready to go in the pan. Okay, I didn't mention, this is my favorite pan. It's a self-draining pan. So it has little holes on the bottom. And one thing I like about it is that if you get enough juices down in the bottom, you can whisk that up and make a little gravy. Now this meatloaf is pretty moist. It was pretty moist the way Chef Patty made it at the retreat. I'm hoping that this is the same. And no gravy needed, but the option is there if we do need it. So this is going to go in the oven, and I don't know the exact time. Normally a meatloaf like this should take about an hour. So I'll just keep an eye on it, and we'll just see what happens. So we'll see you guys later when it is finished and delicious. Okay, this smells amazing. I took it out of the oven at about the 55-minute mark. It was pulling away from the edges, getting a little dark around the edges. It was done. And it's now been resting for about 10 minutes. So if you let it rest for a few minutes rather than slice it as soon as you take it out, it is theoretically supposed to be easier to slice, and I have found that to be true. So I'm just going to try to make some attractive slices and lay it on this pan here, or this plate, trying to make them all the same size. I'm the worst for having willy-nilly slices, but we'll see. Maybe I'm gonna have to take it out one slice at a time. Oh, I probably didn't let it rest long enough. It is kind of falling apart a little bit. Oh dear. Okay. I'm gonna let the rest of it rest. Good thing I'm probably gonna be eating lots of this anyways, so may as well just try a piece just like this. That's the meatloaf I remember. Other than the liver flavor is not too strong. Like, we used beef liver at the retreat, and this is chicken liver. It's way milder. I can't even really detect that there's liver in it. And I didn't mind detecting the beef liver when I made it, or when it was made at the retreat, when I tasted it. So, yeah, and it's got that bit of a tang from the Gastrique. I just love it. I am going to put some on a plate and eat it. It smells amazing. It looks amazing. Now, the only thing is, for those of you with sharp eyes that were watching me, I actually forgot to put the teaspoon of salt in it. It just tastes really good even without the salt. So, but I will be adding some salt, and I'm just gonna load my plate up. I mean, who cares? I'm gonna have a double serving here because I can, and this is all I'm having for dinner. So I'm gonna let the rest of it sit so that I can slice it better. Add my bit of Redmonds. Teddy's waiting for his piece. Do you think you might like this? Probably. It does not need gravy. Although I probably have, I have lots of liquid down here. I could make some kind of gravy. It's not really needed. This is really super moist. So I hope you give it a try. Let it sit a little bit longer before you slice it, so that it comes out nice, straight, even slices. It's going to be delicious tomorrow too. Once again, thank you, Chef Patty, for tolerating me in your kitchen, asking you questions and things like that. Thank you for teaching me about the Gastrique, and thank you for this amazing meatloaf recipe. I'm not one that makes meatloaf hardly ever because I find it dry. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. I hope you guys give it a try. We'll see you on the next video.
And we are done.
He's going, what are you giving it to me?
Oh, who's my good dogs? Pippi. Pippi, come on. Come over here. Who's my good doggies? Okay. You sit. Lay down. You're gonna lay down. Lay down. Oh, what a good doggy. Look at you. You're already doing everything, aren't you? Yeah.
Give me a moment. Gotta give me a moment. For a moment. Well, you kept saying hold it straight, hold it straight. You didn't say turn it. Like, I'm looking at the back of the bottle here, not the front. Have you got it?
Yeah, more ways than one.
Maybe you can tone down the clangs and make the Gastrique New word I learned. Gastrique. 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 We're going to start on the gastrique. Our gastrique is bubbling away. The gastrique has reduced. The gastrique. A bit of a tang from the gastrique. I just love it.